This is gaining some serious steam as the Detroit Pistons sit at the top of the Eastern Conference, being linked to multiple players ahead of the February 5th deadline. There's one player in particular that constantly comes up in the reports being linked to the Pistons, and they have a huge decision to make on mortgaging the future to land a player like this in the wide open East. We're going to break down everything you need to know on this player, reports, and a trade proposal, plus an update on a hidden gem within this system that is showing and shocking a lot of fans that management has done an incredible job adding talent. Now, before we get into all that, I just want to give a huge shout out to everyone watching and thank you so much for hitting the subscribe button. We're trying to reach your goal of 1,000 subscribers by the February 5th deadline, so make sure to go down and hit it. It's completely free and we'll keep you up to date on everything to do around the team. Now, with this, let's just dive straight into this hidden gem that's within the system. I spoke on Jenkins and Javonte Green just yesterday, but looking at this other player that has been dominating right now in the G League, and of course, that is Wendell Moore Jr. Now, looking at this from Piston Muse just a few days ago, Wendell went into the game and went off in 25 minutes for Motor City. Now, with this, 41 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists with a steal, 13 from 15 from the field, 5 for 5 from 3 and free throw, and was perfect until the final quarter. This just shows that management has done a great job. Listen, a two-way contract with this team, but even just looking at a lot of the depth options on the team, Jenkins is a guy that looked outstanding. I did a full video on him speaking about his numbers when Cade Cunningham is off the court or even out of this game. This is showing that you have a lot of depth. Of course, three-point shooting is something this team needs to consistently look at, but at the other end of the day, you're having a lot of this talent show out in a year that Cade Cunningham is looking like an MVP candidate. And I shouldn't say looking, he is a candidate for the MVP. 25, 6, and 10. This is a guy that's absolutely dominating not only the Eastern Conference, but the entirety of the league. We know the standings. We know where they currently stand. As a team, this is a team that has aspirations to go out, and having these guys on the small contracts, the vet mins looking at Javonte, or even Jenkins, that is a young player coming to his own. This is the exact reason why the Pistons sit so far ahead with multiple games on hands. With teams like the Boston Celtics, the Toronto Raptors, the New York Knicks. Screw these teams because this is Detroit's league at this point. But diving more into this and the reports that are now starting to surface around the NBA and specifically the Detroit Pistons is one player in particular, and it might have given it away there where we're starting to see these reports linking the Detroit Pistons to Michael Porter Jr. of the Brooklyn Nets. This video is sponsored by Kalshi, the US's largest prediction market. Kalshi lets you trade event contracts peer-to-peer, not against sportsbooks, and Kalshi is available nationwide, including California, Texas, all the way to here in Detroit. And if you go down in the description and use the link plus Digest NBA, you get $10 when you trade your first 100. Now, looking at Kalshi, we know we're heading into one of the biggest times of the year, which is the Super Bowl. And if you want to trade on Seattle winning the Super Bowl, $100 gets you $148 in return, and using that first $100 that you deposit, you can also use the free $10 to trade on who will make an appearance. Now, we know Travis Kelce is not in the Super Bowl, and that probably means Taylor Swift will not make it, but Jason Kelce, if you trade yes, will make an appearance. $10 fetches you 13. It's a general smarter way to use your sports and news knowledge, and you can close positions whenever you want. Once again, go down and download Kalshi using the link in the description plus code DIGESTNBA to get $10 on your first $100 deposit. Now, MPJ, a name that a lot of people knew on the Denver Nuggets, of course, they flipped him, sending him to the Nets for Cam Johnson, but MPJ is a very interesting player. Someone that, of course, is going to get you buckets. Maybe not the best guy when it's coming to assists, but at the end of the day, Michael Porter Jr. does bring two things to a team, and that is efficient scoring, rebounding, of course, but also just his scoring. When looking at MPJ this season, 25 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, which seems a little high for him, but overall, just looking at his numbers, it is intriguing when seeing a player like this is hitting the market. We can see the percentiles. When it comes to scoring, this guy is in a league of his own. Yes, he kind of lets the ball die in his hand from time to time. But looking at this, the rebounding's in the 90% percentile, scoring the exact same thing. MPJ is a very interesting player. Just looking through his numbers, at everything he brings to the table, even looking at his shooting. This is a guy that adds something to a team that is struggling right now when it comes to three-point shooting, something that this team has consistently looked at. Now we can see from the corner, MPJ might not be shooting the best, but from the top and the right, 47% and 40.5, both above league average. But when it starts to come to these reports and the possible package that would cost to get MPJ, this is where things get weird. Looking at this, the Pistons receive MPJ in return for Tobias Harris, Jaden Ivey, a first-round pick coming in 2028, and of course a 2027 second-round pick. Now, when looking in on this, there's a lot of things to dislike about this. The first thing being is that Jaden Ivey is a piece that we would like to keep. Tyson Chandler spoke himself and said that this could be a guy that could become a second option on this team once he starts to get healthy. Of course, the minutes will have to continuously go up. This is a guy that might not be getting as much burn as he's fighting through these injuries, but at the end of the day, if Jaden Ivey can turn into the bucket getter, a scorer for us, then trading for MPJ makes no sense. And when attaching someone like Tobias Harris, and I shouldn't say someone like, but Tobias himself, it does make it an interesting situation on, do you mortgage the future, a young piece, a veteran player, of course, in Tobias, a first-round pick and a second, to land MPJ on this roster? Now, when looking at the Eastern Conference, once again, it makes sense to go out and buy. You're the top of the standings, an open East. A lot of teams are struggling without players within their organization. Jason Tatum is out. The Boston Celtics don't run this anymore. This is a year that you can buy. You can make the deep run. This is the team that could certainly make a run into the finals. Yes, you'd be matched up against OKC, the Nuggets, one of the teams of the West. But at the end of the day, we're top of the power rankings when it comes to the NBA right now, NBA.com that is. And at the end of it, are you fine with mortgaging the future to make that big push? A lot of these teams are regressing. You have a lot of older talent in it. And with this team led by Cade Cunningham, an MVP caliber guy, Jalen Duren, one of the best centers in the NBA, Jaden Ivey, a young piece, Jenkins, a player that's surprising a lot of people. Does this make sense for a team to go out and mortgage that future? I mean, looking through right now, there's a lot of options, and we can see all the way to reports coming through with Kevin O'Connor. The top 5 Pistons trade targets: Jaren Jackson Jr., Michael Porter Jr., Trey Murphy, Dosunmu, and Klay Thompson. These all add one thing minus Jaren Jackson Jr., who can't rebound. This is something where they're looking for scoring, three-point shooting. They want to add this secondary third scorer to help with the run. But fans, what is your thoughts on this? Would you trade and mortgage a bit of the future to land MPJ? Would you rather go out to pay a king's ransom for Trey Murphy, get a veteran like Klay Thompson, or just hold out and see how this team does? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments. While you're down there, leave a like, subscribe, share this with your friends. We'll be back in more episodes. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a comment. Let me know what you're loving about this. Anything you want to see. I can't wait to continue making you guys videos. But take care. I've been your host, Mark.